Writing an introduction. For many students, writing an introduction is the most difficult part of writing an essay. Today I'm going to give you some tips on how to write a successful introduction. First, what's the purpose of an introduction? The introduction serves a variety of purposes for your essay. It catches the reader's attention, making them want to continue reading. It introduces the broader topic, and it also tells the reader about your overall argument. So how do we fit all that together? The organization of the introduction is very much like a funnel. It starts out wide and general and narrows down to your specific argument, aka your thesis. So what do we start off with? You start your paper with the hook, something to grab the reader's attention. Here's my example. Evil doesn't always arrive wearing black and looking menacing. Sometimes evil is a 12-year-old boy with a smile. You'll notice that I start off with a fairly general statement about evil, that it doesn't always arrive wearing black and looking menacing, and I'm starting to work you closer to my topic by mentioning a child. So the next part is the bridge. William Golding's Lord of the Flies details the adventures of British schoolboys who find themselves stranded on a deserted island. The events on the island make them grow up quickly and change the boys forever. This is a good place to get rid of that meddlesome plot summary that you might want to run into later. Get it out of the way here, and you won't end up doing it later. This also leads us into our thesis. In Golding's Lord of the Flies, he shows that evil lurks within all mankind, even innocent children. This right here is the argument for my essay. I'm going to argue that evil is within all of us, and then I'm going to use examples from the novel to prove that. So let's take this introduction piece by piece. The hook. There are several different ways to hook your reader in. The first way is with a question. Are people born evil, or is it something created by society? When you're starting off with a question, you have to choose one that is a deep thought type question. You can't simply ask, what is a symbol? Definition. Love is a strong feeling towards another person. If you're going to start off with a definition, you need to pick a word that either has a standard definition you're going to argue against, or is a word that most of us don't know. Statistics. 1 in 5 people believe all statistics are made up. And of course, if you're going to quote a statistic, you need to put your source. I put myself, because I did in fact make this one up. If you're going to give us a statistic, it needs to be related to your topic at hand. You can always start with a quote, either a famous one, like this one here, love is patient, love is kind, from 1 Corinthians 13:4, or you can start with a quote from the novel or poem that you're writing about. When in doubt, and when none of the other topics work, you can always start with a general statement. Love is a feeling we all have. It's a very general statement, it introduces our topic of love, and it's something I can then argue against later. So next up is the bridge. The bridge helps you transition from your hook, which we just talked about, to your thesis. It should provide additional information about your topic. It should also flow in a logical manner. Like the funnel graphic, the information you include in your introduction should become more specific, or narrow, as you get closer to the thesis. If you're writing about a fictional work, this is the place to provide a 2 to 3 sentence summary. This way you won't feel throughout the rest of your paper that you need to tell us every little detail about every little character and let us know who all died and all that sort of stuff. With this 2 to 3 sentence summary, you can get that out of the way early on. So next is your thesis. This is the backbone of your essay, where you tell your reader exactly what you're going to be arguing. There are 2 general styles of thesis statements. The first is the 1, 2, 3 thesis. This is the one that you may be familiar with from middle school, where you tell your reader what your first, second, and third paragraphs are going to be about. Here's my example. In William Shakespeare's Julius Caesar, Brutus is considered the tragic hero because he has a tragic flaw, is of noble status, and suffers a downfall. Very clearly, I've laid out my argument that Brutus is the tragic hero, and I've also given you my points, that he has a tragic flaw, is of noble status, and suffers a downfall. This format can become a little formulaic and a little dry. So if you're looking at this going, I don't really want to do that, you can always go with the next type, which is the broad thesis. This is just laying out a general argument for your whole paper. In Zora Neale Hurston's Their Eyes Were Watching God, Janie's physical journey illustrates the figurative journey she takes toward becoming an independent woman. So I'm going to be arguing that her physical journey from place to place is actually kind of symbolic of her journey towards independence. So overall tips for an introduction. Avoid repeating yourself. When discussing the author and the title, try to provide a sentence or 2 of a buffer before mentioning them again in your thesis. Also be specific. If your general statements are in the category of, some people think love is important, and some people think love is not important, you aren't telling the reader anything she doesn't already know. So you need to make sure that you're making some specific claims even in your general statements. And last but not least, you must state a claim or argument. Have something in the mind that you are trying to prove. When you read your thesis, if you can't say, I don't think that's true, then you probably haven't chosen something that's arguable. Good luck.